Hi there, my name's Lisa Bentley and I'm an 11-time Ironman champion, and I get to have the pleasure of speaking with you about perimenopause, menopause, and your performance. You're all running with us in Toronto at one of our races in the Toronto Marathon weekend, and I'm excited to share with you my knowledge. I'm 56 years old, so I have gone through all these changes. I've been a teenager, I've been a vibrant adult, I've been in the prime of my career at age 35, and I've also gone through perimenopause, menopause, and here I am, 56, still kicking, still swim, bike, running, rowing, doing strength training, and not fighting aging, accepting it, but trying to minimize the effects that come with aging. Now, the magic formula in all of these changes, perimenopause, menopause, is estrogen. Estrogen is the king hormone. It is what makes us amazing as women, and it allows us to have pliable tendons and ligaments. It gives us good hair. It gives us beautiful skin when we're young. It gives plumpness to the face. It helps our mood. It makes us happy. It helps us regulate glycogen. It helps regulate your temperature. It is just a powerhouse. Keeps your bones nice and healthy. It is a powerhouse. It made us incredible humans in our youth. And as you get older, the estrogen kind of decreases and it decreases and it decreases until it's gone. And we don't have this powerhouse hormone anymore. And we miss it because then our tendons become less pliable. That's why injuries happen a bit more. Oh, my knee, oh, my Achilles, ouch, my hips hurt, everything hurts, because we don't have this beautiful estrogen feeding into all of those tendons and ligaments and keeping them nice and loose. Our bones lose density. We have more of an opportunity to have fractures, osteopenia, osteoporosis, because estrogen helps with your bone density. So this is a real problem. We have to be careful of all those miles that we're running. And yet also weight bearing helps with your bone density, but it's something to be aware of if you're finding yourself suffering from more fractures or stress reactions or bony pain, is that it could be a bone density issue. Estrogen has kept our skin nice and smooth and wrinkle-free, and then it goes away and we get wrinkles and our face feels saggy and our hair doesn't feel as good. It feels a little bit brittle. That's that loss of estrogen. My bread and butter when I was racing was the Hawaii Ironman. I did it 14 times. I loved it. I loved the heat. Couldn't be hot enough. Now I don't like the heat as much because the estrogen used to regulate my temperature better and it doesn't anymore. I mean, one of the biggest things people talk about when they're going through perimenopause and menopause are the hot flashes. I certainly went through that, and I was fortunate I had a very proactive doctor that put me on hormone replacement therapy right away. Don't be afraid of it. I mean, there's a lot of myths associated with getting breast cancer, but there's now regulation between estrogen and progesterone, taking those two beautiful hormones together that will help. And ever since I got onto hormone replacement therapy, the hot flashes were gone, sleeping through the night. And of course, because you're getting a bit of estrogen, it's helping a little bit with your skin, your hair, your mood is a big one. When the estrogen goes, we do get a little grumpier. We do get a little bit more anxious, a little bit more on edge. And I think, again, the first step is realizing, okay, I'm not a beast. I have to be gentle and kind and loving to other people. But it is a real reality that you're going to have this decrease in the hormone, and that's going to just make you a bit more on edge. Performance-wise, of course, you don't have the elasticity in your tendons anymore. So you might not be able to get that flexibility through your ankle or that bounce when you're hitting the ground. You're just not as pliable. Your bones aren't as dense, so there's more cause for just some concern to make sure that your bone density is good. If your bone density isn't great, then being a bit more cautious with your volume of running. If you used to be someone who ran 5 days a week, maybe you got to run every other day. Just give your body time to recover in between those workouts. So as we talk more about performance, what I want to say is that without these great hormones, this estrogen, pay a little bit more attention to your flexibility and your mobility. We need to work on that more. Ironically, I don't race professionally anymore, but I spend more time than ever on my mobility and my strength than I did when I was racing. I need the strength because as you age, your muscles decrease. You don't have the same muscle tone, And so therefore I have to be proactive and do some strength work to keep that muscle tone. I also have to keep strong muscles to support my joints. I mean, if your knees get sore, it's probably because your quadricep muscles and your hamstring muscles and your adductor muscles aren't strong enough. They're not working as well. So we have to get those muscles working and stronger than ever. We can't rely on the fact that when we were 20, we were able to play tennis for 10 hours. No, you can't do that when you're 40 and 50 years old because your muscles just don't have that elasticity or that strength. So as we think about performance at this stage in our life, more strength work, more functional strength work. So make sure you're doing it in a way that will help your performance. So every single day I do band work for my quads, my hamstrings, my adductors, because that's all my cushion for my knees. I work on my ankle flexibility, some dorsiflexion, which is knee over toes. I do that work so that when my foot hits the ground running, that I have a little shock absorber. If my ankles are super stiff, well, what's going to happen is all that shock is going to go up through my leg, probably into my hamstring. I'm going to pull my hamstring. So we've got to keep the joints as pliable as possible. So spending some time, not just on strength, but also on mobility and keeping things moving. We also at this time want to make sure you're eating healthy. Estrogen was a great helper in keeping your glycemic index like calm. So it was okay sometimes when you ate a donut or you ate pizza or you ate all these processed foods or high glycemic index foods. You can't do that anymore because you don't have this regulatory mechanism for that glycogen, for that insulin response. So eating more whole foods, unprocessed foods, less sugar. It's interesting because as I transitioned through my 40s to my 50s, I'd be going out on a bike ride with athletes for 4 or 5 hours, something that again was normal for me in my career. And in my career, I would eat a power bar every hour, which would be like a Cliff Bar every hour, like high carbohydrate. That was my fuel. That got me through every race. And as I aged, it wasn't working for me anymore. And I didn't really realize why, but I was craving something more solid. And I started to eat these bars called G2G bars, which are a great bar. They're really a nice whole food bar, but quite a bit of protein, which wasn't a big deal when I was racing. I mean, protein's counterintuitive. You need carbohydrates. And it just seemed to hit the spot. And I was able to still perform and I still had energy and I could ride my bike for 4 or 5 hours. And then as I researched after the fact, menopause, realizing now this is my life, there is a lot of research that says you need more protein even when you exercise. Of course, we need more protein as we age to feed our muscles because our muscles are shrinking. We don't have the estrogen. We're getting older. We need to build strong muscles. You need protein for that. But even during exercise, which is typically a carbohydrate environment, that's what you need. We needed just a bit more protein. So that was something that just evolved for me, but it actually scientific research says, yes, more protein. So we need more protein just day to day because we want to keep our muscular the strength of our muscles, but we even need it during training. So we want to increase the strength training. We want to do mobility work. We want to increase the elasticity of our tendons. We have to realize that it's not there quite so much anymore. We need to eat more protein, less high glycemic index foods. We need to not have less carbs, but make sure those carbs are a whole food carbohydrate, something that's going to really fuel you and break down very, very slowly, like brown rice, brown pasta. Stay away from the white poison, the white breads, the white pastas, the white rice. Stay away from those. Go to the minimally processed foods. Keep that glycemic index calm. Take some fish oil is always very important. Take some fish oil with a good antioxidant so that the fish oil doesn't get too hot. Talk to your doctor about hormone replacement therapy. This is a time where we have to eat the whole foods, take care of strength, do our mobility, accept that things are different, accept that your skin might not look the same. You might have a few more wrinkles, and it's tough. It's really tough. Let me tell you the number of times I've wanted to go get a facelift, but then I realized, this is me. I've earned all of these wrinkles. And it's just part of my growth and my evolution. And I really try to accept that. I accept that I'm slower. I'm not running as fast as I used to, but I'm running. And I'm so grateful that I get to run. I've got to keep my muscles, my tendons as strong and pliable as possible. And most importantly, I need to love myself. So I want to encourage all of you to love yourself as you progress through life, as you evolve, as things change, as those hormones change. Please love yourself and find new reasons to love yourself. Use your intelligence and your experience to help others. Be role models for other people in our communities. Recruit them to be young runners. Get them out there and be proud of them, and share your wealth and your experience and your knowledge with other people. That's what you have. Yes, we're lacking some stuff. We're lacking estrogen, but we've got a ton of experience. So let's use it. Love yourself. Be the best you can be with what you've got. And I can't wait to see you at the start and finish lines of the Toronto Marathon weekend.